Turn that volume up. You know you want it. It's time for Women's Basketball TV with former NCAA champion, WNBA champion, business mogul, and national TV personality, Fran Harris.
A'ja Wilson is a generational talent. Unpopular opinion. Let me repeat that. Unpopular opinion. Skylar Diggins is a marked woman. Let me repeat that. Skylar Diggins is a marked woman. I like Skylar Diggins. I think Skylar Diggins is a super basketball player. But she has done the unthinkable thing in some people's eyes. She has done the unthinkable thing in the eyes of people who don't like outspoken women and who certainly don't want outspoken black women thinking they should be outspoken. Skylar Diggins has spoken her mind and stood up for herself, and people don't like it. Yeah, I said it. As a black woman who is very outspoken, as a black woman who stands up for herself and stands up for other women and black women, I understand the pain, the dilemma that Skylar Diggins is going through. People don't like it when you stand up for yourself. And yet Skylar Diggins has done just that, and I applaud her for doing that. But let's keep it a buck. This has also made her a marked woman. This has also made her someone that people think, oh, we got to be careful. If we're going to pick up Skylar, we got to be careful. No, you don't. What you need to be careful about is how you treat all the women in the W. What you need to be careful about is that you are not marginalizing women who stand up for themselves. And we know this country, the establishment, pick whatever establishment you want, church establishment, school establishment, athletics establishment, whatever. The establishment is always going to shun women who stand up for themselves. So we're going to keep it a buck in this video. There is no way Skylar Diggins should not get picked up in this offseason. She is by far one of the most valuable free agents in the W. There's no reason she should not get picked up. But people are going to stay away from Skylar Diggins. Y'all will never know who they are. I will never tell you. But people are going to stay away from Skylar Diggins because they perceive her to be trouble. Listen, I'm all about trouble. I'm trouble. I'm big trouble, but I'm good trouble. And what Skylar Diggins is doing is what every young girl, young woman should be thinking that they should do. Stand up for yourself, no matter what it costs you. So when Skylar Diggins decided that she was going to take, maternity leave, stay out, wasn't vibing with the Mercury, everybody's whispering, oh my God, they're not going to pick her up. They don't like her. Y'all will never know the behind the scenes of that situation. Do I know the behind the scenes of that situation? Yes, I do. But the reality is, women should be able to stand up for themselves. The W is a league of women, predominantly black women. And if these women can't stand up for themselves without recourse, without being put on the, for lack of a different term, blacklist, if they're going to get blacklisted when they stand up for themselves, then we are no better as the W, as some of the historically contemporary institutions and organizations and establishment who don't pay women what they should be paid. I can go into television. I can talk about television in that way. Television, sports, you name it. What Skylar Diggins has done is exactly what she needed to do. But she is going to pay a price for it. Okay, we look at Indiana. Should Indiana take Skylar Diggins? Not necessarily. We all know that Indiana is going to take Caitlin Clark. We all know that Caitlin Clark is coming out. We know that they are going to make her and give her every opportunity to be the savior of that franchise, along with Aaliyah Boston. We all know that. They are not going to put anybody in the mix who's going to mess that up, who's going to potentially, cause some friction with this goal that they have of resurgence and rehabilitation and recovery and all the other R words to get Indiana back where it was before Tamika Catchings retired. Low key, I will give y'all a little hint on something, a little inside scoop on stuff. Low key, Indiana is potentially a franchise that could possibly, if I said all the words, there could be new owners, new city. It could move. Okay. So there you go. There's that. That's why you listen to this podcast and not others, because I got the real inside scoop on stuff. So Indiana is one of those teams that might not be in Indiana within the next 5 years. So Indiana needs to increase its value. It needs to be better. It needs to get good fast. It's been a drought for the Fever. One of the most successful franchises, and then all of a sudden, nothing. So they are making their moves very carefully, and they are not going to throw Skylar Diggins in the mix necessarily to even potentially mess that up. So get that out of your head. It ain't happening. And if it does, I will be very surprised. If it does, then something different really changed and happened in that organization. So if Indiana, a team that needs to rebuild and renovate quickly, is not looking at Sky Dig, then who might be looking at Sky Dig? I will tell you that I believe Skylar would be a good fit in Chicago. Not only is she an upgrade from the point guard that they currently have, no shade, but the coach there, the head coach, was a pretty good point guard in her career. Teresa Weatherspoon is going to make sure either the point guard she has or point guard she brings in, that they are fire. Sky Dig, Teresa Weatherspoon, that would be a match in Chicago Sky Heaven. That is a possibility. That deal could possibly get done. Now, point guard coaches, they rely heavily on their point guard players. And Teresa Weatherspoon, even though she wouldn't necessarily say, hey, I'm looking for someone like me, she understands the ingredients that are needed to win at that level. To be a point guard leading a WNBA team is more than a notion. It is a special operation. If we look at the franchises right now who don't have strong point guards, they didn't do so well this year. Let's look at the ones who did well. Las Vegas, Chelsea Gray is a Teresa Weatherspoon type of point guard. Presence, strength, character, passion, humor, all of that. Sky Dig is all that. So I could see Skylar Diggins going to Chicago. That would be a potentially good move for Chicago. Atlanta has had its issues. Definitely needs a strong point guard. Now, Atlanta did, in my estimation, from watching from afar. I'm not in that organization. Nobody's told me anything. One thing you got to know about me, I ain't gonna never sit up here and lie and tell you things that I don't know. And I will tell you, just from watching, from being on WNBA teams, championship teams in college and in the WNBA, I will tell you that Atlanta desperately needs stronger point guard leadership. Big time. But I also saw some semi-chemistry issues with Atlanta just from watching. Can Skylar Dig go in there and smooth that over, get buy-in from her teammates? I think so. I think Atlanta, candidly, is unapologetically strong Black women vibe. So I think Skylar could thrive in that system. Yep. She could definitely thrive in that system. Another system that I think Skylar Diggins might be able to thrive in, this is gonna shock some of y'all, and it probably won't happen, is Dallas. Yep, I said it. She came from Dallas and she went to Phoenix. It's a different coach now. It's a different team now than when Skylar was there. And I believe Dallas definitely needs strong leadership at the point guard position. Let's talk about what's in Dallas. You got Dangerfield. Love her. I think she is a solid player. I think in 1 to 2 more years, she's going to be a dominant point guard in that system if she stays in Dallas. I'm assuming she will. You got backups in a way of Odyssey Sims. I think Odyssey has kind of worked her way into backup territory. I'm not sure that the organization is ready to put Odyssey Sims at the point guard position as their main thing. She's early 30s maybe. And I think they want to build for the future. I think that's a part of it. But even saying that, and you would say, well, why are you bringing Skylar Diggins up? But I also believe that part of the reason that Dallas did not get to the next level in the 2023 season was due to point guard, was due to someone getting them a little bit more, I hate the phrase under control, but kind of in sync down the stretch. What I saw in Dallas was when it got a little bit hectic, everybody started doing whatever they wanted to do. You've got to have a point guard that is going to be on the same page and at the same level of what we're going to call it, alpha, as Arike Ogunbowale. You got to have somebody she truly respects to run that ball club. So that's off-season work. That's what Dallas needs to be working. If they're not bringing anybody in, and again, I'm gonna throw out what can and cannot happen. So I don't know that it's even a possibility. But whether Dallas gets Skylar or not, or can even possibly entertain that or not, that's what Dallas needs. I'll do another video on what Dallas needs to get to the next level. But Skylar Diggins needs to be in a situation where she doesn't have other players undermining what she's doing. There's no clash about that. Like, Skylar Diggins could help lead someone to a WNBA championship. Who? I don't know. Those are 3 choices that I just threw out. And I will be watching with bated breath to see where Skylar Diggins ends up. But there's no way someone with the pedigree, the results that Skylar's gotten in her career in the WNBA, there's absolutely no way she should not be on a roster, starting point guard, when we get to the season in 2024. Where do you think Skylar Diggins should go? What do you think should happen with her? Which teams should make some moves to try to get her?
Thanks for tuning in to Women's Basketball TV with Fran Harris, the most provocative and entertaining women's basketball show on earth. Be sure to click that like, share and notification button so you don't miss a moment. We'll see you tomorrow.